Many believe it's a trick of the mind.
Have we met?
Yeah, we have.
But the truth is far more extraordinary.
What if you had to tell someone the most important thing in the world, but you knew they'd never believe you?
I try.
He has been shown a secret.
We can look anywhere. 4 days in the past.
The government doesn't want you to know.
This is not surveillance. This is the actual past.
Yes.
Wow. Hey, let me ask you something. Is she alive or is she dead?
The key to stopping a disaster
Brace yourselves. I think you're about to witness a murder.
starts by solving the mystery of déjà vu.
What if you had to tell someone the most important thing in the world, but you knew they'd never believe you?
I'm trying.
Déjà vu. If you think it's just a feeling, go back and look again.
No fingerprints, no footprints, no smoking gun.
Do you see a skull?
Hey, Bones, I'm not looking for a skull.
And their relationship is murder. Bones, the brand new series, starts tomorrow at 9 on Sky One and Sky One HD.
If he's last goal scorer, we'll go and get that stair lift, eh? Hey?
Sky Bet. It matters more when there's money on it.
Friday night we get a chance to look at the Championship leaders, Cardiff. They meet QPR at 7:30 on Sky Sports 1, a match also available in high definition. That's channel 408 if you're a Sky HD viewer. Saturday there are two pay-per-view offerings from the Premiership. Manchester City meet Fulham at 12:30. Middlesbrough play Liverpool at 5. Channel 480 for details of how to order those matches, or you can call 08705 160 160. Group E we're looking at this evening. This is England's European Championship qualifying group. There's a match finished already. Russia have beaten Macedonia by 2-0, which means they currently top the group. We're watching Croatia in Israel. Remember, the Croatians beat England last time out. They lead here by 2-1. Simonic, Trevor was just saying, in many ways, you know, the first goal, he was right at the heart of that, wasn't he, with that dreadful back pass. In a way, his part in that deserved for him to have put that through his own goal, didn't it?
Absolutely, because Colotti nipped in to just nick it over the line.
As you would if you were Colotti.
Absolutely. You can't say anything against the Israeli forward for doing it, but I think Simonic has got off lightly there, because that would have gone down as one of the worst own goals in history. So he's got off lightly there, as he did in the World Cup, of course.
Yeah, he's a lucky player. Let's rejoin our match commentators, Tony Gale and Ian Dark.
Welcome back to Tel Aviv. Chance going on there along the They need to tighten up in the second half. I think they need to believe in themselves a little bit more. I'm not sure how a weakness is at the back. They forced one error.
Well, somewhere in the distance there I can hear Tony Gale and Ian Dark, but plainly between here and Tel Aviv we have one or two communication problems at the moment, which we will do our best to address. The Israelis are back, I can tell you that. Not sure if the Croatians are just yet. And these are replays from our colleagues at Israeli television. This is a Simonic goal we're talking about, Trevor. That's the incident, isn't it?
That's the incident, and as the ball is played into the Israeli player Alberman, his first touch is so poor that there were so many occasions there when they could have got the ball clear. That's another horrendous mistake defensively. Nothing wrong with the penalty. Nice and straight, right down the middle. And this is once again really poor defending, but a lovely finish, Richard. Eduardo with his left foot there just strokes the ball through the legs of the keeper. I just wonder if Israel will consider trying to get back into this game, get somebody up to support Colotti. He's the lone striker and he's been rather left isolated.
Let's have another go. See if we can rejoin Tony Gale and Ian Dark.
Yeah, thanks, Richard. I think those gremlins on the line to Tel Aviv have gone now. Well, Slaven Village will be very happy. That's Robert Prozanecki, by the way, alongside him, a wonderful creative player for Croatia in the past. And also Aljosa Asanovic, who's also part of that Croatian management side. Now they're going to make a change here and bring on the 18-year-old Toto Tamuz, who plays for the league leaders Beitar Jerusalem. And he's onto the left-hand side here with Benayoun pushing further in field. Badia is the player who has been released. The central midfielder, a former Wimbledon man, he's come off. That's an offensive move, and Israel need that, of course, from 2-1 behind in this vital game in England's Group E. Remember, 4 teams on 7 points going into this game: England, Croatia, Macedonia and Israel. Russia, as you've been hearing, have moved on to 8 points with a win against Macedonia this evening.
Just a collision there between Afek, right back spot. And of course, the goal scorer. The second goal took it so well, Eduardo.
Incidentally, it might be November, but it's still about 70 degrees today in Tel Aviv, which is on the Mediterranean. Israel's second biggest city. This is Modric. A cute little ball to Eduardo. He tries his luck from a long way. I'm sure that's what he wasn't intending. Pretty good start, hasn't he, as a Croatian international. Eduardo scoring again tonight. He plays for Dinamo Zagreb. Sharp little player. Albaman playing it inside to Benayoun. To get Benayoun really pulling the strings and trying to test this Croatian defence. Afek. Onto with Sandberg. He looks as if he's been just pushed a little further inside.
I think they're going to try and push Benayoun even further on. Try and get in support of Colarucci, who really got isolated in that first half. And I think it's a collective thing. It's from the back as well. They've got to push in. They were just going deeper and deeper and deeper. And then, of course, the midfield comes deeper on them. And Colarucci gets more and more isolated.
Tamuz, lovely turn. Welcome to the game. Decent ball in as well, and then Robert Kovac's header might have ended up anywhere. It went over his own bar in the end, but what an introduction to the game for the 18-year-old Toto Tamuz.
That's better, isn't it? Much more direct, a turn and a cross. At last, putting Croatia under a little bit of pressure. That's where they've got the weakness. That's where they've got to try and find it.
The decibel level is switched up again. The Israeli fans like that. Benayoun. Idan Tal tried to attack it on the edge of the box, and the break is on now. Kranjčar. Cerner over on the left-hand side now, taking on Afek.
He had a good first half, didn't he, Cerner? Cerner on the right as he was in the first half, and obviously Eduardo on the left. Bit of a change early on. I'm sure they'll switch back again. This is Tamuz when he got his cross in. That's much more direct, and I think that's what they've got to do. Further up the pitch, in that last third, try and get their crosses in. Colarucci in there, and maybe Benayoun in support.
Croatia, of course, if they hold on here, can move on to 10 points from 4 matches in this group. And by the way, England's last game in the group is at home to Croatia a year from now, presumably at Wembley. If they ever do open the place. Kranjčar lays it back to Simjanic. He'll be more relieved than most that his colleagues have managed to claw their way back after his horrendous early error. launches it into the night sky. Ben Youssef helping the ball forward. He was brought on at half-time in the game against Russia, where Israel got that surprise point. Russians have been slow to start in this group, but they could be a factor as well. And that will be another tough away trip, you'd think, for England. The Russians.
It would be. There's Tamuz there again, Ian. A nice little tackle coming back on the fullback, Qualifier. And it's a cross and a tackle, just lifts all the crowd. Just a little bit of inspiration needed.
Qualifier. Nice composed piece of play by him. Eduardo again makes a present of it. Now then, there's Toto Tamuz again. The fans here like his introduction. Looking to attack, nearly picked up Ben Ayoun, who'd sprung from midfield.
There was a couple of other options. He just needed to get his head up a little bit more there. First thing he saw, he passed through, and that was Ben Ayoun. Dantal was just a little bit deeper and coming onto it there.
Petric. Eduardo. We haven't seen an awful lot of Petric so far. Eduardo's looked more of a threat. Too far for Zandberg over on that far side. Earlier this season, we saw the Israeli champions Maccabi Haifa give Liverpool a bit of a run for their money in a Champions League qualifier. Liverpool only prevailing 3-2 on aggregate.
There's the Tamuz run again. He just sees Ben Ayoun, tries to get it through. Just behind him out the shot. Dantal, much easier pass.
Zandberg. Across here to the 34-year-old Casey. He's for the champs, Maccabi Haifa. But the necessary more offensive mindset from Israel now. This is Ben Youssef. Casey had to work to just keep that in play. Israel have only lost one of their last 14 home matches in all competitions. Casey plays it in. It wasn't the best ball. It was easily cut out really by Simic. Toto Tamuz. Ben Ayoun. Tamuz had made a run forward into the box. It's cut out, but it's a little bit more interesting, this from Israel now.
The pace and aggression Tamuz has brought to the Israel game. I saw a little ball square to Ben Ayoun there, and he tried to get in behind.
Casey's ball in. Away by the tall figure of Simunic. Nicely poised this game just at the moment.
Got to start here, isn't it, from Israel?
Ben Ayoun into that little pocket of space. And that's a disappointment.
That's unlike him. He normally picks out the pass, and the right pass as well. One got stuck in two minds.
Eduardo. Still on the right-hand side with Cerner on the left. Crenshaw. Now Cerner. Bent in. Eduardo! And a wonderful save, but no, he's got it in anyway. Eduardo again. 3-1 Croatia. And that might just have killed off Israel.
And the great move with patient passing. People was unlucky in the end, wasn't he? Eduardo again with a goal from the Cerner cross, but they're patient. That's the thing about it. Crenshaw out wide to Cerner, cross in. It looked like the second attempt the ball goes in. But again, it's poor defending. You can see Cerner gets on the ball, and he's all on his own again. Eduardo, how far is he out? Look, 4 yards. Great first save. A bit fortunate the way it bounced back, and he just slips it back into the net when he's on the floor, Eduardo. But again, he's poor marking, ball watching, great save first, and just prods it home from the floor. lack of concentration again, costing them dearly, so dearly. Great save here, though, wasn't it?
Goalkeeper deserved better, really, didn't he?
He did. A little bit unfortunate in the end.
And that's how the manager celebrated it. Slaven Bilic, yes. 3 goals away from home. Can never be bad, can it?
Immediately they start passing the ball, though. Croatia, Israel have always got problems. They tend to follow the ball. All of the back four, they're just following that ball all over the place, and immediately 2 or 3 passes are made because they look no danger. And all of a sudden, they're all following the ball, they're all ball watching, and they're just caught out. They're poor defensively. Not bad when they're in possession. So poor defensively. Caught ball watching all the time.
Israel heading for what would be their first defeat in the group.
You can hear a pin drop now, Ian, couldn't you?
Yeah. The coach is unamused. That goal coming just at a time when Israel were beginning to ask a question or two themselves at the start of the half. Great time to score for Bilic's side.
Thumbs up from Bilic as well. He knows that's the end, I think.
Yeah, he only took over in July. He's had a dream start, and Croatia confirming the impression they made against England, that they are a very useful team indeed.
They certainly know how to play to this pattern. This pattern of play that they got is perfect for them, with a lone striker, 2 wide players. Eduardo likes to come in and join with the striker now and again. Cerner as well. But the 3 tight in midfield are excellent. It's the passing and the movement that they've got, which England struggle to create. Although we've got just as good a players, if not better individually, we don't seem to be able to create that passing and movement that Croatia have done tonight. It's good to watch, and you can see it developing all the time, can't you? Just trying to set themselves up for that 3rd man run to get in behind defences, and if you're poor and you ball watch as the Israelis have been doing, then you're going to get punished.
They have an awful lot of work to do here now. Idan Tal across to Casey. Petric is helping out. Just for a moment, he and Eduardo have swapped over, with Petric wide on the right and Eduardo now as the most forward player. He's on a hat-trick, of course. Alberman. Kolauti.
Refugees from his own crowd. Just came deep, spun, come off his defenders, and then he hasn't had much support up there, and in desperation lets fly. And you can see the goal again. Football watching, no one's marking at all. Nearly a great save from Al Atbert. He responds to the rebound really well, Eduardo, and just prods it home again. Look, all coming up, just eager to jump out that line, and they get in behind. It's poor defending.
It was Eduardo, the only player who went and attacked it, really, and got the payoff. He's on quite a roll at the moment. That's 3 in the last 2 internationals for him. And as I say, they didn't even pick him for the World Cup finals, and went out in the group stage.
Left-footed, he's comfortable going on that left as he did in the first half, and coming in on this right-hand side. As I said, with Petric the lone striker, he's eager to come in off the flank as well, and he can support from deep positions.
Well, Amit Ben Shushan replacing Michael Zandberg. This is the player who got the equaliser in Russia with 6 minutes to go. In fact, he scored in the last 2 games for Israel. Only 21, promising player who plays for the Bitar Jerusalem club. Modric. Looked like a free kick, although Croatia did have the ball. I suppose the referee could have allowed an advantage. He's going to give a yellow card there, though, to Idan Tal. And that means he will miss the match against England.
There you can see late with the foul, and they've been moving the ball so well in midfield. It's desperation to get after it and try and make a tackle. He's late on Modric. He collects that yellow card. Been chasing shadows in the middle there.
By the way, they had 4 players going into this game who were on the verge of suspension if they picked up another yellow card. Idantar was one. I'm not going through the full list. Ben Ayoun is another. Certainly wouldn't want that to happen. Steve McLaren and his team will be watching the tape of this match very closely indeed when they get back from Holland. Toto Tamuz. Now Idantar.
Third goal probably came with the best spell of play that Israel have had, really. 5 or 10 minutes under pressure, and then they conceded.
Ben Ayoun's pass cut out. Just not quite 100% fit, Ben Ayoun. We knew that going into the match tonight. Here's Serna. And from a tricky start, this has got nice and comfortable for Croatia at the moment, just pushing things and the ball around as they please almost.
Easy stuff. Always seem to have the spare man into midfield for those centre-backs to pass into. Just making little angles, coming short. Just slip it into the spare midfield man, and then the move develops.
The Croatians have achieved what any away side in this kind of game looks to achieve. They've quietened the crowd totally. Kranjčar feeds it out wide. Here's Serna, who's been a bundle of menace all night, really. He's got the ball again here. It is Serna. He's invited to shoot. He looks to bend one. He was just put under a bit of pressure by Alberman, and that helped. And the referee's telling him, just get up. He's not going to allow him to get any treatment.
Well, he's had a good game, Serna, isn't it? Just going out onto that left-hand side now, and he's cutting in on his right foot. Eduardo on the right, who's left-footed, cutting in on his left. So, different proposition for the 2 full-backs now playing against them.
Just got a bit of depth, haven't they, as well, Croatia? I mean, Rapajic out of the side, and they can bring this guy back in. And he's not a rookie or anything like that. He's winning his 41st cap, in fact, tonight, Serna. And the Israeli crowd starting to just whistle and boo the efforts of their side, which is not what they need.
Serna caught late there, just losing the ball again, just trying to themselves pass through midfield and close down, and Serna nicked it and was fouled in the process. And you can see Tal Ben Ayoun just catching the back of his heels.
Dario Simic, the AC Milan player, just overrunning it. It's given away by Casey. Going through a bad patch here, Israel. Modric. Niko Kovac. Was fed through towards Petric, but not accurately enough.
If the ball was right, he was in again, Petric. Again, the 3 midfielders just setting it up. Petric had made the angle. The 2 centre-backs were caught wanting again. Neither of them marking.
Afek towards Coluti. Now Toto Tamuz. Modric. Now Eduardo. Another test for the so far rather fragile-looking Israeli defence, and England fans will draw some comfort from the way that this defence, I think, has performed here tonight. Ben Ayoun. Now Casey again. Ben Ayoun. Easily snuffed out. It's come out here to Idantar. And behind for a corner kick in the end. That was Cerner getting back, helping out his defence that time.
Tal just trying to hit the diagonal to the far post. You can see Cerner just coming back, just following his runner, getting it away for a corner.
They need something, and quite quickly, you sense, Israel. Ben Shushan feeding it wide. This is too long, but Yossi Benayoun has picked it up here for Israel. Now Casey. Off Korluka behind for the corner kick. Just one Israeli goal could change the mood.
They need it, and they need it quick, I think. I think that lift. It looks like a set piece could probably be their best avenue of scoring.
Idan Tal to take it. It's too long for everybody. The delivery, frustration, not only for the Israeli players, but the crowd too, and the brakes on here. Modric. Eduardo, and the flag does go up. He tried to bend or just hold his run, but not quite effectively enough.
Lazy, actually. It was a good opportunity. Good opportunity, and Modric was just waiting for him to come onside. Good player he's looked tonight, hasn't he, Modric? He just runs with the ball. There's not many players around now who do run with the ball and give you vital seconds holding on to possession. He's kept hold of possession tonight, doesn't squander it. Short passes in midfield and just running with that ball, holding it, just waiting for the angles to happen.
It's only his 12th cap as well, and as I was saying, I think some of the top clubs around Europe are having a look at him. He's with Dinamo Zagreb at the moment. Niko Kovac. Now Simjanic.
Niko Kovac, who you just mentioned there, just switching the play out there to Simjanic. He's the one who just balances it off in midfield. He just plays the anchor role. Allows Modric and Panchar on the other side, the two further midfield players, to just get on with it, and balances it off perfectly.
Casey. Benayoun. So far is that the Croatians have just known a little too much for Israel. Benayoun. By a little half yard. This is Ben Shushan. Deep cross in, it's come all the way up to Casey on this side, and back in, and Israel are back in the game. Yossi Benayoun. Now then, Israel threatening a comeback, and Yossi Benayoun scores his third goal for his country, the skipper, this season.
Well, he said we needed it quick, and it's come. It's a great strike from Benayoun. Was this handball from Casey? Here it comes on the far side. Yes, takes it down with his arm. Only one arm, though, that doesn't count. Cuts it back. Benayoun on the volley. Really, that's a good volley, because he's stretching into that. Look at this nice bit of control. There you go, out it comes. Lovely. Nearly caught it, put it in his pocket. Puts it back to Benayoun, and there's the volley into the corner off the deck. Lovely volley, stretching volley. The more you look at that, the more a poor decision it was for the handball. But that's a great volley, a great volley.
But very few of the Croatian players complained about that.
I don't know why.
3-2. So what have we got going on here now? Good game.
Even though it was handball and it was a great volley, you can see that the weakness with Croatia is in their defence. It's a great sign for England. You get at either of these two sides and you'll get something, but Croatia great in possession. Israel not bad in possession, but struggling to defend, most certainly.
Which again raises the question of why England couldn't get at Croatia a little more in Zagreb recently. But back to this, Toto Tamuz. Well, that's a lovely little chip through. Koluti! And he's put it wide.
He's offside anyway, went a fraction early. Not a bad little ball from Tamuz, just chips over the defence, but just goes a fraction early, and I think the linesman on the far side gets it right. He's right in line, goes for the far side. textbook fashion, not a bad strike, but offside.
He's got 35 goals in 66 matches for Maccabi Haifa, and he's helped